Hello,
Hi.
welcome to Cliff Alerts. Today we're going to be talking about OWN Network's reality-based TV series, Ready to Love, Season 6, Episode number 11.
And today we will be focusing on Sabrina and Demitrius.
I ain't going to start. Go ahead.
What did you say? Black no crack?
Yeah, we can
That's
see that that ain't necessarily
clearly
true. Anyway, the episode began with Tommy instructing the fellas to introduce their connections with their family members. So before Demetrius could do that, Tommy had to have a little word with him to let him know that he needed to meet with Sabrina to solidify some things and tighten up some things, because from his vantage point, it was anything but.
So we start with Sabrina and Demetrius meeting initially at, seems like a bar. I think they talked about brunch and they were having drinks. Sabrina started off about some concerns that she had. She wanted to air them out, and one of them related to that submission piece that she had an issue with.
Demetrius, was it his friend or whatever, mentioned to him or revealed when she met his friend.
And Demetrius tried to clear that up with her. I don't think Sabrina understood that piece about what submission actually means. Wives submit to your husband, husbands submit to your wives. So it's a joint requirement. A man thinking that a woman has to submit to him, he's missing out on what the actual word is saying, because it's not just for the woman, it's for the man as well. When she gets married, she doesn't want to take her husband's name. So I'm not sure what Sabrina is saying. Again, another goalpost moving. This is what the sister does. She keeps moving the goalpost, move it again. While I believe Sabrina's person is not on the show, I think she operated in a foul and ruthless way, because instead of moving the goalpost, what she was doing and not giving a definitive answer about what she wants and who she chooses, she decided to just put a leash on these brothers' necks and just drag them wherever she felt like taking them, and it was not right in my estimation.
Demetrius had his own, part to play in that as well.
Absolutely, because he didn't present himself as an authentic person to begin with.
Well, I think that, and also too, I think that he did not do what he could when he could have to kind of lock down what he said from the almost from the very beginning was his initial attraction to and connection to Sabrina, right? So he's had more, at least in my mind, more of an opportunity to connect with her, rather than anybody else, because that's was his focus from the very beginning. And they had that initial connection from the beginning, but it never seemed to have developed because they just couldn't get on the right page about certain issues, so forth and so on.
Right.
So
I think he did not come across as being sincere. He did not come across as being genuine. And he did not really put a whole lot of effort into pursuing Sabrina until maybe the end. And I don't think he was for her, but I do believe that Sabrina was a little ruthless and callous in the ways that she treated Tori, Donovan, and Demetrius. He showed them, and she just, wherever she went, she dragged them around, and when she was ready to discard them, that's exactly what she did.
That initial meeting at the restaurant that we referenced earlier kind of came across to me as an interview.
Yeah, it was an interview.
And I'm like wondering, are we on a job? And I think you had mentioned that you thought that she was conducting or maybe trying to write a grant proposal or something like that.
No, well, she asked the brother about generational wealth.
She said that has on the same page with Demetrius about as it relates to being married, I guess, or being
that conversation is a heavy conversation. And are you having that level of conversation with no kind of commitment behind it.
Right.
That I know she is a nonprofit executive, but I just wondered if she was writing a grant, if she was responding to a request for proposal. It seemed so out of left field. It seemed like she was not as sophisticated as she would like to appear to be. And just asking that was just like someone who you're having a conversation and out of left field they bring something up that has no relevance to what you're talking about at that given time. Because I just believe it's talking about generational wealth. You got to be locked in and in tune with him to have a valid discussion about generational wealth and what your plans are to do it. You're talking about it and you're excited about it, and all the possibilities start blowing up in your head, and the possibility of getting closer to the man because you both are going to be doing this is not where Sabrina and Demitrius was at that time.
Yeah, I just don't understand that part of why she would mention that.
Everything is about what the man is going to do for her, and she wasn't offering up what she is going to bring to the table.
Well, I tell you what, having to pick up on just what you said, something that she said, and I think it was in her confession that confused the hell out of me, was how she felt like at that point in time she was scrambling, or they were scrambling to make up for lost time for, in my mind, a relationship that they don't have as of yet.
But that was disingenuous because she and Demitrius hooked up from the gate.
Right.
In fact, Demitrius was the name she pulled out for Tori,
right,
and the name she pulled out for Donovan as well.
Right.
So at the end of it, when she said they were scrambling, was disingenuous because she indicated that she was feeling Demitrius, or certainly he is the one she used to clear a whole lot of stuff out.
Family was coming
into town.
Right,
and he wanted them to meet her. And she immediately said, they're not at that point. It seems like she was just wiping her feet on him. And while I'm not a fan of Demitrius, I was surprised the way she said that, because there's a way she could have said that without coming across so cold and callous. And it reminded me of her dismissing Tori, and she knew Tori had feelings for her.
Right.
But yet she actually stood up there and said, "Hey, you're gone. We love you, but we don't.
Right.
You're out."
Right.
And the same way she used Donovan when Donovan tried to make her accountable for how she's moving. She had a problem with that and started insulting him.
Right, name calling
him. When we see that the thing she's describing is not what he was saying to her, but she created that scenario in her head just to diminish who he was. Now, I advocate women gotta be responsible for themselves, but the behavior, because we don't know Sabrina, her behavior was callous. You don't treat another human being like that. You just be upfront. Say, this is where I am. This is where I want to be. So you don't drag people along and they have an expectation of one thing when you actually know that's not what's going to happen. Because when men do that, there is a problem.
Right. We hear about it.
When men do that, they're called dogs and everything else. So when a woman does something like that, is that a good thing? No. Because how you treat people is connected with how you will be treated in the future.
Karma's not a respecter of persons.
No, it doesn't. And when she comes hard.
Right. Yeah, I understand what you were saying about how Sabrina could have taken far more concern with how she delivered that response to Demitrius as it relates to, declining his invitation to meet with his family coming into town. Right.
But this is the thing. When Sabrina ended that conversation with Demetrius in the bar, she said, okay, our conversation has cleared up the issues that she had. If he is not the one, and that's at a high level in your whole being, let the brother know.
Right then and there?
Right then and there. When
Right.
she told him about the parents, because when Demetrius went back to the men's lounge and he said what happened.
I think he was a little caught off guard, and I know Tommy was caught off guard.
But they already knew what was coming.
They knew what was coming in terms of the process, but I think Demetrius specifically was caught off guard by her response because he thought a little differently than she thought about where they actually were.
That's because his ego was in place. His ego has carried him throughout this entire series. He can't see anything above his ego, so he was not thinking that she's gonna do him raggedy. He should immediately have caught on that, okay, this woman is telling me that we're not going any further. So I need to push her so that she can articulate what she needs to say, or I take control and say, hey, I think because you don't want to meet my parents, that's a big thing for me. You're probably not gonna want to go with me, so let's just end it here.
That's what I would have suggested that he could have and
Yes,
indeed
but the
should
ego,
have done.
the ego got in the way.
But he's been so laid back in the cut and so
The
seemingly
arrogance of
content.
it.
Content to let things come to him,
Right.
you know, and that references what you were saying earlier, that he missed an opportunity to take the bull by the horns and say, hey, look, maybe we should go our separate ways now, now because this is not working out.
He didn't want to pursue her. A woman likes being pursued.
Yeah.
She likes being pursued. And that's one thing that excited me about your approach. You pursued me. You hunt my ass down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So these brothers who like to lay back in the cut, oh, I don't know, what have you, they're doing themselves a disservice, because a woman, a full-grown woman these days, don't have time for that nonsense. Yeah. But how do you think he felt going into that room and saying that, and the reaction of the men and Tommy based on him telling them that she did not want to meet his people?
Ears were definitely up then. I'm sure Demitrius had their attention, and nephew Tommy, I'm certain, was surprised by that part of it.
He said that he had to call her for a date. Now, if he didn't call her for a date, would she have gotten on the phone and say, hey, we're not gonna work?
I don't think in this lifetime.
Who is this woman?
Right. I don't think so.
That's the kind of toxic behavior men put out. If you want to go with that strength of being a woman and knowing what you want, just tell the brother.
Exactly.
Just let him know.
Right.
This is a learned behavior. She's been doing this for a minute. She walked in, told the brother she likes a suit, that's her favorite color. Then she thanks him for the affirmation he sent her this morning, and then she pulled out the she damaged him. Yeah. And we all witnessed it.
Yeah, his face was clearly broken, and like I said, I was at that point in time when I saw it, I was like, man,
black don't crack.
Damn lie. Because his face was on the floor. He got hit with that bombshell.
He was oozing.
And not only that, too, I think that he handled it as well as he could under the circumstances, but he clearly didn't anticipate it or
at all. And then he asked for clarification. He said, "What? Not even gonna move forward after the camera's off?" And she said no.
Demitrius began to question in his confessional what he had just gone through. Like, was this a game she was playing with me?
He's in a daze because he's accustomed hanging back. He's accustomed hurting women. Look what he did with Precious. The way he devalued Precious and elevated Sabrina is the same way Sabrina devalued him. I just felt like Sabrina was, her movement and her behavior was toxic
And reckless. Huh?
and reckless. And I believe that she can find a different way, another way. I don't know if it's because of past hurt, this is how she's operating, but karma is going to show up. So that's what we have.
That's all I got.
We would like to thank you. We sincerely thank you for sitting with us. We thank you for participating in the growth of this channel. Blessings to you and your family. Bye-bye.
Bye.